Good morning, grade 5s. Today I have got my mind map in front of me. You can see that I have just used my hand and I've copied what I had on the PDF that I gave you, just to show you that I'm also having to go and handwrite things out, so it's really not a problem if you can't print worksheets. Okay, remember mind maps. We always keep mind maps really uncluttered and simple. We simplify our information. So it's important to remember that we write just the most important things down. Okay, right, so we're going to start with point. All right, now point is seen by just a little dot on a surface. Okay, and it is there to show the exact position. All right, it shows the exact position, and we call points by using capital letters of the alphabet. So we're going to call that one over there point A. Okay, right, the next one is the line segment. Okay, the way that I remember line segment, I've got a little trick to remember a line segment, is to remember the S in line segment. And for me, I tell my brain to remember the S stands for start and stop. And if you look at a line segment, it's got a point on either end of it, which means that it starts somewhere and it stops somewhere. Okay, so we've called this little line segment AB. So this line is called AB, and it's got two end points. So that's just a little note that I wrote down there for myself, is that it has got two end points. So you remember line segment by the S. S stands for start and stop, and there it is. Line A and B starts at A and it stops at B. Right, then you get a line. Okay, and a line goes on in both directions. Okay, and so you can see I've got a little arrow on either side there. I could also call this line, if I wanted, I could call it AB as well if I wanted, or anything. I could call it C, D, E, F. All right, and a line goes on in both directions. Right, then you get a ray. Now the ray is quite a fun one. The way that I remember ray is I think about the sun. And you can see in the memo that I did for you on the computer, on that PDF, the ray, I've actually made a little sun with sun rays coming out of it. And so the way that you can remember a ray is you think about the sun's rays. And you draw a little sun, how you used to draw a sun in grade 1 or 2, with a little round body and his sun rays coming off of him. Okay, and so if you do that, you'll remember that the ray has got one endpoint, which is the sun's body, and there's your dot, your point, and then the other end that goes on forever and ever, and I show that by putting in my little arrow, and that's how I remember a ray. Okay, right, parallel lines are fairly easy to remember. They are lines that just never intersect. Okay, they're never going to cross each other, and you draw them. Remember, I hope you remember to draw your lines with pencil, and remember they always need to be very neat using your ruler. I'm having to use my hand here, it's a bit difficult. And how do we show parallel lines? We show them by using this little arrow that we place onto our lines to show that they are parallel and they're never going to intersect. They are the exact same distance apart forever and ever. And then we get a perpendicular line, and a perpendicular line is fairly easy. These two lines cross at exactly a 90-degree angle. And you know, we've spoken a little bit about this last term. A 90-degree angle we show by using a little square. And we know that that's going to be 90 degrees. Right, and then we have intersecting lines. And here you can see I've drawn two intersecting lines. There's one, and there is the other. And I've called my intersecting lines, I've also given them names, and I've called them line AB and line CD. And they are intersecting at point, there's my point, they are intersecting at point E. Alright, so those are the different types of lines that we get. It's really easy. I'm going to go on to angles now, but I'm going to post another video for angles. Make sure that you've got all the information that you need on there. Remember, keep it simple. And you can add things if you need to, or you can correct things if you need to.